Welcome to Making It with Terry Wollman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Wollman.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making It. I'm your host, Terry Wollman. My guest today is singer, songwriter, and Intervision recording artist, Erin Stevenson. I appreciate you joining us every week, and I'd like to share my intention that inspires this podcast. Time passes quickly, and I've learned that we should do what's in our hearts and do it well without apologies or excuses. I encourage you to create your life and art in your own unique way and express your artistry with joy and with abandon. Be willing to work uncompromisingly for what you believe in. Success will have a better chance of finding you when you live your life with integrity, focus, and passion. Be selfish with your discipline and selfless in your performance, and don't forget to have fun along the way. If you're joining us in our live audience today, we'll be inviting questions and comments during the second half of the show. So make it count and simply request an invitation to come up on stage, and we'll bring you up. Let me tell you about my guest. Erin Stevenson is an American R&B soul pop singer, songwriter, and producer whose work has included performing backing vocals on Duran Duran's Paper Gods tour in 2017. Stevenson has been blessed with many gifts, including a sultry voice, electric dance moves, and the ability to deliver performances with her feisty personality and natural Southern charm. This has led to her starring in her own right, opening for or alongside Justin Timberlake, Pharrell Williams, Nicki Minaj, John Legend, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, Ciara, Rihanna, Yolanda Adams, and Jamie Foxx, just to name a few. Erin's new single on Intervision Records is called Believe. Erin Stevenson, welcome to Making It. You can unmute yourself.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. It's great to see you. We're doing this.
It's officially happening. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you asked, I love talking and sharing anything inside of me. So thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. And it's great to have you here. I want to begin and end our conversation today, so we'll circle back, but by sharing your philosophy about what it takes to be successful, about focus and gratitude and doing the most, which are attributes that you have. I know because I've performed with you, I've seen you on stage, and you do the most. You always find a way to see what needs to be done and do more. So tell me about that for a moment.
Okay. So I have quickly, especially in today's world, not even just in music, but in today's world, I have literally come to the conclusion, and you kind of knew, but now I literally live by it. Success is exactly what you determine it to be. It's so many standards put on everybody now, from beauty to health to fitness to finances to fame to listen. I think happiness is the new success. And for me, as long as I'm doing things that makes, of course, myself happy, but others happy, then I am successful. And I think everything that you look for comes along with that. I tell people all the time, quit looking for money, quit looking for, blah, blah, blah. When you do what you love, you're naturally good at it. So the money is going to come because you're good at it. And that's really my philosophy. I do nothing for myself. I believe we're all here to serve someone or to serve some purpose. And it comes back around. We'll get back to that later. And I'm sure we're going to talk about how much stuff, but that'll come back. That particular topic will come back around. But we're all here to serve. And as long as you're of service, that's how I keep going. That's how I keep coming up with what do I need to do next? What do I need to do more? How do I need to reach more people? And because it's not about me. If it was about me, I would quit a long time ago because it's a lot of work.
What would you be doing if you weren't singing?
Well, two things. Well, one, I wanted to be a vet but because I love animals. But my mother told me a long time ago when I was a kid, because I was the girl. Like if I saw a dead animal on the street, I'd make her and anybody in the car, quick, no, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And I'd make them turn all the music down, and we'd have a moment of silence as we passed by the dead animal. Or either I'd cry, or I'd cry, I'd cry. And my mom was like, baby, I don't think that's going to be the occupation for you. You
Good
might not
point.
need to be a veterinarian because I get too emotionally attached and I haven't even met the animal. But
Mhm.
yeah, so if it wasn't a veterinarian, which is where my heart is. I love animals, but I would be on TV one way or another using this voice. Um, I love communicating. So either I'd have my own TV show or radio show or like a newscaster or something like that.
Mhm.
Something in
And
communications.
and you have one dog, or do you have more than one pet at home?
I have one crazy dog and he's enough.
Yeah, he's a lot. He's big. He's a big guy.
Mira, it's funny. I don't, maybe because I see him all the time, but everybody thinks he's a big dog and
Oh, he's
we
not?
don't.
Oh, okay.
Well, to other people, they think he's
Sure.
massive, but to us, because he treats us like he thinks he's a little dog. So he'll come and sit in
Right.
our lap, like literally plop his little booty down on our laps like he's a
Mhm.
little dog. So I don't, maybe that's what it is, but
You know,
I
that's
love him
funny
to
for me
pieces.
to hear you say that because when I had my dog, Ollie,
Uh-huh.
people used to say the same thing, that he's a big dog. It's like, no, he's not. He just comes up
Right.
to my knee. He's like 65 pounds, and but he was perceived as bigger. So that's funny that I
Yeah.
just, was looking at pictures and videos of your pup.
Well,
He seems like a big guy.
he's at least 60, 70
Yeah.
pounds for
Yeah, yeah.
sure. But and I think we get terrified because he's part pit bull.
Mhm.
So when people see his face, they're like, "Oh, he's a big dog." No, but pit bulls are like the sweetest dogs on the planet.
Mhm.
Yeah, as with anything, it's how you train them, how you raise
That's
them.
right. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So you started your very first musical instrument, you played drums,
Yes,
right? That's where you started? You
yes.
didn't start on piano or in the
I
choir singing?
Not at all. Um, I used to bang on anything, and I come from a very musical family. I'm just the only one to pursue it. Like my mom, she played piano for like my church choir. She's a
Mhm.
pianist and sings. My daddy sings. My brother played like trombone and tuba and whatever else he played. But so I grew up. I just had a natural rhythm. So my mother ended up buying me a drum set, and it was called Black Magic. And I remember it was gold and black. So that was my first, introduction to like, oh, let's play some instruments. Singing was the last thing I would say I took seriously. And then after drums, it was piano. Piano. After that, flute. I've played flute since I was maybe 12 years old. And forever. But I,
Mhm.
jack of all trades, master of none. Flute would possibly be the one that I actually came close to mastering, but I
Mhm.
haven't played it in a while. But I can, if I hear it, I can still finger
You can
notes and
find
stuff
it.
like that.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you went to college, you ended up studying, marketing, right? Or you worked in marketing?
Both. I went to college for communications and also for marketing.
Mhm.
Once I graduated college, because I tried to drop out of college to sing to be a star. Now
Mhm.
my daddy's a teacher and my mother worked. And she works for Methodist Hospital. She retired. So, needless to say, and they both work very hard. I don't want to make that sound like I come from the Huxtables, the Huxtables.
Mhm.
That's not where I come from. But my family was very strict on education. And so I came home and tried to quit. Anywho, finished college. That's another story too.
Mhm.
I've turned into the old person with about 30 stories for everything. So I went directly into marketing, and because I'm not, are you familiar with the movie called Boomerang with Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was an advertising firm. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, because I love the way the brain works. I love the way that things trigger you to do anything. For instance, even this red hair, what does it make you think when you see red hair? The me just and every billboard, even where they make cell phones, it's made that way for a reason because it triggers something. Anywho,
Mhm.
so I'm a nerd. So I thought I was going to go work for a marketing firm. Turns out I ended up selling sparklets water doing door to door selling sparklet water. But I became like number in the top 10 in the country in like maybe 3 months, I think, 3 months or less. And then I quit and I started singing.
And
So that's,
you mentioned that you're a nerd. You are
yeah,
literally a nerd. You worked for NASA, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. So
yeah.
you're not just like amateur nerd. You're professional. Can you were talking about wanting to stop college to sing and be famous, and
Uh-huh.
you had a little bit of a taste of notoriety when you were 10 years old because you sang in a girl
Yes.
group called Girls
Yes.
Time, which turned into Destiny's Child, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Because
So how did that come about, and how was that for you? Were you pushed into it? Were you supported into doing it?
no.
Did
So
you?
my
Mm.
God, no, I sure,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Terry, you could ask me anything you want. Let's go.
That's my plan.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know that, and I'm like, let's Terry, Erin, be prepared for some good questions. So this one, my godparents, one of my godmothers, she again, she saw something in me. And I've always had a natural talent for rhythm and performing and for singing. That part came naturally. And she's another one of my elders, and who saw something. And she worked with the lady's name was Miss Denise. She's passed on now. God rest her soul. But and this is before Beyonce's dad took over.
And this is
Um,
back in Texas, right? Where you were
Oh yeah,
growing up?
back in Texas, where
Okay.
I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So she told my mom that they needed another singer, and I went to go audition, and I made it. And singing, performing, and working, and running, and singing, and performing, and working. And you wonder why my work ethic is what it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Beyonce, and I can honestly say everyone that came from that camp, Kelly. Um, there's even some of the others who weren't in the final the final group of Destiny's Child. There's another young lady. Her name is Ashley Tamar. She went to go sing with Prince and tour and
Hmm.
does Broadway kind of stuff. Other two girls doing Broadway right now. So everyone who came from that camp left with some form of work ethic that I can say has transcended from 10 years old to now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I often also tell people too, think what you want to think about Beyonce and her talent, who she is, whatever, whatnot. The girl is for sure, aside from anything else, where she is because of her work ethic. She works
Absolutely. It's
hard.
crystal clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, she works very hard. And
Hmm.
so that's how that came to be. Yeah, my godmother and seeing my little old crazy, energetic self singing around the house and performing. And that's how
So
I ended up there.
how did that end? What was your exit from Girls Time?
That's the real question. I wanted to sing. I wanted to write. I
Hmm.
want, and mind you, I'm maybe 10. No, at this point, I'm maybe 11, 12,
Hmm.
because I was in it for a good while. I, um, I wanted to write. I wanted to choreograph. I wanted to arrange. And even at that age, I knew that. And I went home one day. We were about to go to, I don't know if we had a performance or a studio session, one or the other. And I thank God for my mother. Now, some people think this is crazy, but it won't be the first crazy decision I've made in my life. We'll talk
Or the
about plenty of
last?
those.
Hmm.
Or the last. And each time, I tell people, trust your gut, trust your soul, trust your spirit every single time. Don't second guess it. No matter what it looks like to others, or even if it's scary. Sometimes it's the best thing. Wait for it, but sometimes it's the best thing. And I went home, and my mom was curling my hair, and we had to be somewhere. We had the contracts. My mother had all these lawyers, her attorneys from Methodist Hospital, and Methodist
Hmm.
Hospital is a very prominent hospital. And my mother worked at the same job forever. So, honey, they love my mother. I don't know why, because my mom was crazy, but she has the biggest heart on the planet. But everyone loves my mother. And so she went and talked to the attorneys there, and they thankfully, happily looked at the contracts. They told her no.
Oh.
Yes. However, on the flip
Hmm.
side, while my mother's curling my hair, because I'm still her child and
Right.
I want to sing, and she knows this. And my mom said, I tell my mom, I said, Mama, it was weird. I just saw some vision in my head. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to sing. I want to do all these things, and I don't want to do it. My mother said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yep." My mother didn't ask twice. She let it go. She said, "Okay." And I appreciate
That's
that.
pretty wonderful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you hear about these R. Kellys, and
Yeah.
I'm a very honest person, Terry, and I know what your show is about, and it's about helping people. And you hear about so hopefully someone gets something from what I'm about to say. You hear about these R. Kellys and these parents manipulating and using their children, and pushing them to do things that they really don't want to do, and and it's more so for their own self gain, not for the child, and
Right.
it's not cool. It's not cool. And then we look and we see what these children turn out to be, and then we want to blame the R. Kellys. Well, you took them there. You took them there. You should have some accountability as well. And
Hmm.
so, even aside from those kinds of things, like I
Right. And
thank
by
my
the way,
mother for
you're not letting perpetrators off the hook. You're just saying there's an accountability all the,
there's an accountability for sure.
in
Because
the family.
yeah,
Yeah.
you see a lot of them see it. They just turn a blind eye to a
Hmm.
lot of things, whether
Sure.
it's financial advances, whether it's molestation, whether it's so just so they can have their own financial gain.
Right.
And that's a very sad thing. And I'm thankful that my mother, one, didn't use me because it's not what my heart wanted to do. And
Hmm.
secondly, I'm thankful that she trusted me even at that age. But I think parents need to also be more trusting in the job that they've done with their children. Like I tell my mom sometimes, you did a good job. Like you did a good job, mama. Thanks for trusting us. You did a good job with raising us.
Hmm.
So and like I said, there's more crazy decisions we'll talk about later that I literally had to tell my mom and my daddy, hey, y'all did good. I know this sounds crazy, but you did good. It's gonna be all
Okay.
right.
Well, let's talk about one right now. Let's talk about NASA because you used to work for NASA as well. I want to read a quote of yours, just giving a little bit of the story. It's up on your website, I think is where I saw it. So
Okay.
here's what you had to say. One morning that Grant, you're working at NASA. This is the context.
Mm-hmm.
One morning I
Mm-hmm.
woke up bored and tired of living a purposeless life. I walked into
Yes.
my boss's office while working for NASA and told him to fire me. I laid my CD on his desk and told him to
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. And if he felt like I sucked, I'd return to work the next day with a smile on my face. That evening, I received my notice. The next day, what happened?
I
You
was
were
gone
asked to
with Janet
tour.
Jackson.
You were
Yep.
asked to tour with Janet Jackson.
Yep. Very next day. I get emotional when I hear that because today, today, I'm after our interview, I'm gonna get dressed and and then I'm gonna tell you about how that story came to be and just I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm in Duran Duran's latest movie.
Oh, that's
And
great.
it comes out today. And had it not been for that moment, it had it not been for that moment, and like back to even when I said being a child, just trusting your gut, leaving Destiny's Child. To some people, that might sound crazy, but that wasn't my destiny. And I had to be okay with that.
Right.
And because it was theirs. And that's great. And somebody, I remember I was singing backgrounds on the road with somebody in my early 20s. And a random person comes up to me and says, "Hey, Erin, I've been following your career." He said, and this is perspective is one of my favorite words. He says, "Erin, I've been following your career. It should feel really good. You get to wake up every day and travel the world and tour and sing and dance and perform and make money and travel the world and whatever you want to do and make money doing it. And you sing every day. I know you used to sing with them girls, but some of them can't even get jobs now. Where are they?" Perspective,
Right.
perspective. I ended up working for NASA because I had gotten to a point in my early 20s to mid to late 20s where I was like, because we know this music industry and it can be a little fickle. You don't know
It
when your
is
next
for
check's
most
coming.
everybody. It is up and
Yeah.
down. It's not
And,
just
and
up and it's not just down.
right. And you don't know when your next paycheck is coming. It
Hmm.
happens. I was like, Erin, you're degreed, although I hadn't worked in maybe like 8, 9 years. But I was like, you're degreed, go get a job.
Hmm.
I ended up working for NASA. And no matter, and I say that to tell people, even with the NASA story, no matter how much you try to fight what you know you're supposed to be doing. I was working for NASA. My boss is still my friend to this day. I
That
worked for
that's
NASA for,
There's something to be said about that. You know,
yeah,
that you are still friends. It shows integrity. It shows
yeah,
standing in your light. Showing up, giving your
yeah,
all, and then
giving
still
your
being
all.
and then still being true to yourself.
Exactly.
Listening to your heart.
Yeah, and you have to, man.
Hmm.
I literally, when I did this, it was in the middle of a recession. Remember when the recession was happening in the mid
Sure.
late, when the government was laying off people from their government jobs, and NASA was one of the massive layoffs. People were losing their jobs left and right. And the crazy Erin walks in, and I say, "Hey, fire me." My boss thinks I'm nuts, of course, because people are crying and begging for their jobs.
Right. Career people.
Who?
Right.
Yeah, but who am I, knowing I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know that this paycheck that I'm getting, and I loved what I did. I loved the people that I worked for and that I
Hmm.
worked with. I loved my consistent paycheck. I loved the paycheck I was getting.
Yeah.
But life, man, life, waking up every day and that fulfillment, it's not about money. Like, I want money, please. Yeah, I take being a millionaire, but it's not about, it's all we got. Choose to be happy. And I tell people that all the time. And the very next day, off to the races. And I have not had to look back since. And every time I tried, when it got tough,
Hmm.
I'd receive a text message, I'd receive an email or a phone call to leave again or to do some job for this. And of course, it's all involving music.
Right.
So here I am, 42, still kicking.
That's a
Oh,
blessing. Yeah.
yeah, it's a blessing. It's
Hmm.
absolutely a blessing. Nothing short of.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You said something to me when we were talking off the air, and basically we were talking about just this jumping off a cliff kind of feeling, or
Hmm.
not a feeling, just a point of view, an action, a way to go through life following your intuition,
Yeah,
uh, being thoughtful and mindful about it, not frivolous about it, but doing your best to be fearless about it
right,
when you make difficult decisions like that. But you also said, "What's for you is for you,"
for
and you have a
sure.
story about that with when you first moved to California from Texas, getting
Hmm.
an audition with a major artist and not even being what they were looking for, but somehow you got shot out of a cannon. Can you share that experience
Yeah, man.
and your perspective on what you learned from that?
For sure. So you're absolutely correct. I know I speak freely um, on acting in faith and going full throttle with whatever you decide to do in life. But you're right. Because I want people going, Erin said, go jump off the cliff. No, please, please, please take some time, be still, and ask yourself, what is it that I'm good at?
Right.
Please ask yourself what you're actually good at, not what you think, you know, or, please know what makes your heart happy, what makes us happy. Real question. What is that service
Hmm.
that makes others happy and you feel fulfilled when you do it? Don't just be frivolous about it and go make some uh, premature decisions, okay?
Right. What's your purpose?
Right. What's
Why
your
are you here?
purpose?
Why are you taking up
Right.
space and breathing?
And breathing this
What
air.
are you
Like, I
supposed to be
know.
doing with this gift of a life that you have?
Exactly. Please be thoughtful and mindful and careful in that decision.
Hmm.
Uh, everybody's not meant to be a singer. Just saying. Don't. If you know you got that thing and it's what and you're good at it, please go. I just have to. That's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
So because I think that was very important. I love the way you worded that. Don't just be frivolous in your choice, choosing go. Well, this is what I'm about to go do. Don't just yeah. So moving forward to answer your question. So I did a show. I moved to California. I did a show in Texas before I left because I did everything that I could do at home, but I knew I wanted
Mm-hmm.
more. I knew there was more. I mean, I was already working and touring and traveling, but I knew I wanted more. And I had done everything I could do at home in Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, divorce parties, bar mitzvahs, you name it. So I did a show and I raised some money and I took that money and moved to California. And I was left with about 300 bucks. Okay.
How much money did you move out with? You moved out later than I did. I moved out, I saved up $1,000 and drove cross country. Yeah.
Yes, literally got in the
Same.
car.
Yeah.
My two friends rode with me.
Okay.
And after I had paid my first and last month's rent, I found my roommate on Craigslist. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like we did.
And
Yeah.
like, that's right. It's what we did. So I had about 300 bucks left after
Mm-hmm.
everything was done, about 300 bucks. However, contrary to popular belief, it's true. And it's also, I'm a Gemini. I have a dual personality. I'm extremely bold. I'm extremely shy. And I was like, people knew my resume, but they didn't know me in the city of LA. So I was like, and we're going to get out. We're going to go sing at every open mic. And I would sit on that
What year
couch
was
because I
this?
would get so 2012,
Okay.
2012. And I would get so terrified. I'm gonna try something. I think my earbuds are dying, unfortunately,
Okay.
because
Take them out.
they were just at 100%. So I'm gonna do it now before they die, and just to make sure
Okay.
we're good, because I
Great.
really want to continue this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put these up.
Okay. I
Okay,
can hear you.
you hear me? Sweet. Okay,
I
they
did.
were on
Good.
100%, so that's weird. But anywho, so I long story short, I flew home with whatever I had left out of that 300 bucks.
Mm.
Random, I found a cheap flight home because I just needed to go hug my mom, you know, pray, whatever. Mama,
Yeah.
just give me a hug. That night that I flew home, my mom prayed, we talked. She gave me my good old hugs. And I get a phone call. I'm in Houston, Texas, not in California.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "Hey, Erin, can you be at an audition tomorrow? I think it'll be around about 10, 11 o'clock." You know what I said? Yeah. Who is it for? It's for Jennifer Lopez. Oh, okay. I'll be there. Mind you, I'm in Houston, Texas. 2 hour time difference. It's
Mm-hmm.
maybe 8 o'clock at night right now.
Okay.
I literally, my mom gets on her computer, I get on my computer. We're hunting down flights. Because, see, my daddy always told me this quote, and I live by it still. My daddy used to always say, "Baby, stay ready to keep them getting ready. Just stay ready to keep them getting ready." So I never really believed in the word no, okay, when it
Mm-hmm.
came to work or if I knew I could make something happen. And again, I have a ton of faith, but that
Mm-hmm.
comes from exercising and giving faith a try.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so um,
It's a
how
practice.
it's practice. But I found my mother or me. I can't remember who found it, but the flight was literally like $50.
You can.
I'm
Okay.
not kidding.
Well, that's
I
the
didn't have any
universe.
money.
That's God telling you where you're supposed to be flying to.
We bought the flight. The flight literally got me back in at LAX. I tell no lies. These are all true stories. The flight gets me to LAX maybe about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. My
Mm-hmm.
car is left in the parking lot. So I use whatever I have left to pay to get my car at the parking lot because LAX parking is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That $50 already took that $50 away for the flight. And I go to the audition, and it's a room full of who's who singers
Sure.
of LA, the open micers who all the musicians know. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them because I've gone to the open mics and I'm in right back out. Remember I told you I was terrified. Anywho, so I see the faces. I'm like, how? And crazy enough, the person who called me for the audition only met me one time.
No kidding.
One time.
Did you sing together, work together, or just met.
That was even a fluke how I ended up working with that person one time because
Hmm.
somebody didn't show up, and
Right.
someone said one of the singers said, "Oh, Erin, this girl named Erin could sing the part for the rehearsal,"
Hmm.
and that was only for about an hour. And
Right.
the person who called me was out. I'm
Right.
going to name her name. Her name is Kim Burse. Her
Hmm.
name is Kim Burse. And I had to tell her maybe last year that for the first time, because we worked together many a times after this J-Lo situation, I had to tell her that I lied to her. Because I was in Houston, Texas. She's the one who
Oh,
called
right.
me.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get
That
into
little
this.
detail.
Yeah, that little detail. But I'm going to tell you why I told her that too. So you just never know when someone's meant to be an angel. So, and that's why I always tell people be kind. You never know.
Right.
So I walk into the room and I hear J Lo. She calls. I sing my parts or whatever, and she calls my name. Mind you, I'm learning my whatever the song she wants me to sing on the flight to the airport.
Hmm.
So you again, stay ready, keep ready. There's no time for excuses. Figure it out. If you want it, you figure it out.
Hmm.
So I hear her say, "Ooh," and I walk out. All these singers don't know my name. And the other lady, oh, it's so much I could say. The other girl, she's my friend to this day too. We write songs together all the time. We've even written for J-Lo now.
Hmm.
Um, she wasn't on the radar either. And she was kind of like in my position with she's not on the scene at that time. She wasn't on the scene.
Hmm.
So this could be very well her story and testimony. So we get a call back. Like we're all these singers here, and now someone comes out the door and they say, Belle Johnson and Erin Stevenson.
Hmm.
And everybody's like looking like, who are they?
Those
Who are
two.
they? We don't know these, it's LA. We don't know these girls. Who are they? And me and Belle
Hmm.
like, excuse me. And turns out, when I say we were nothing that she was looking for, she had, and this is why I tell people sometimes, if you don't get chosen for certain things, sometimes it's not about you. They have an image in mind, in a brand, whatever that may be, that they want to portray for the event, for the show, or whatnot. It's not always about you. So don't take no's personal all the time, right?
Hmm. Good
However,
point.
However, I always say, give them you. When you walk, I always let people know. Even when I walked into NASA, I had a red mohawk when I went in for my interview at NASA. Okay.
Mm.
So I say that to say, show up as who you are and let people know who they're getting, what they're getting, and don't dim your light. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
what people want. You just never know. Once again, what's for you is for you. She wanted the complete opposite of anything that I looked like, from weight to height, to possibly skin tone, to hair, voice, everything. But whatever I did when I was in that room changed her whole mind about what she wanted.
Mm.
And I was told that literally after we got the job.
That's
So that's
powerful.
why and that comes from a $50 flight, fly from Houston, and lying to somebody saying that I was going to be in LA the next day with no money in my pocket, terrified as all outdoors. The no-name girl running around LA somewhere. Yeah, I'll be there. Just showing up. You just got to show up. And what's meant for you is always going to be for you. And from that moment, I've carried that with me so many times as well, because it was a learning experience, in the room full of who's who. And I was nothing that she wanted. And been on a
Until
world tour
until
with
you
her
were. Right.
until I was. Yeah, yeah, until I was. And I've rocked with her and performed with her many times after that, after her world tour.
Hmm.
Shoot, I just finished up something with her a couple months ago. So,
Hmm.
God is good, man. That's what I say.
So that's a beautiful story, and thanks for sharing it with such clarity. Let's peel back the layers one more. Let's dive even deeper. One of the
So,
things that I know about you, only because you've shared this with me personally, is that you struggled with low self-esteem.
mhm.
You know,
And
through
nobody knew it.
right. And so I'm curious, you know, if that's just the way you came out in the world, or if there were life experiences that caused that to happen. But also, how did you and how do you continue to overcome this default that of where you came from, which is just not feeling real good about yourself.
Well, here's the thing. How do I say it? I never thought that, and I'm sure a lot of people feel like this, like, but I don't think I'm ugly. Why do other people think I'm ugly? I never felt like I was always cool with who I was. Let me make sure I say that. I was
Mm-hmm.
always cool with who I was. And kids are mean. Like I will honestly say I grew into my features. I come from a line of gorgeous, big, bright smiles and big eyes, and I adore them, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had to grow into mine. So, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But there was a time where if it was a group of guys, I'd walk with my head down. If I saw them out there, I just put my head down because I would hear things along the way every now and again, like they chose the ugliest girl to be the captain of the cheerleaders, or I would hear little
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Right.
Even people now, I will say this, and I will say it boldly. Are people who are jealous of my talents? Oh, she lucky she can sing because that's all she can do because she ain't cute.
Mm. You've heard that.
You
Wow.
don't realize these things
Yeah.
until later, though.
Sure.
But they play a role. I mean, you hear
Of
them,
course.
and
That's the human condition. We hurt when somebody kicks us. It
yeah, and
hurts.
you don't realize them until you're older. And then you hear, and then even as I got older, let me be real plain about it. And then I've heard I wasn't even from music industry people, you know, from no one. Let me say this: no one ever said I wasn't good enough. It was always some reason for something. Oh, she's
Mm-hmm.
not cute enough, or she's too dark skinned,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe make her more like this, make her more like that. It was just always, but oh Jesus. So we're gonna have to say no if she doesn't want to. No, we can't bleach her skin. So no,
Mm-hmm.
make her more sexy. No, like it was just. And you hear so many people's opinions of you, you begin to put your head down,
Right.
and going to your shell or your crawl, and that esteem can go down. But for me, again, my dad, I love, and when I'm saying this, I know this your platform is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say my daddy, I mean my stepfather. My stepfather is my daddy.
He
Okay,
raised you.
he raised me, and he would
Mm-hmm.
always say to me, even and I still, and you say, how do I deal with it to this day? That's why I tell men, especially men with daughters or sisters or mothers or wives or girlfriends, you're so important, man, and what you say matters, to women. And my daddy, in regards to women, because it matters to your sons and everybody else too, but for women, my daddy would always say, my little, and to this day, my little pretty black baby, my little pretty black baby. I turned 12 years old and I'm 42 whenever I hear him say it. But it would ring. It rings. And,
Right.
one time too many, then the positive begins to outweigh the negative,
Right.
and you start finding yourself at some point. You're like, I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I, I I don't feel this way about myself. Why am I allowing other people with their opinions to make me feel this way about
Mm-hmm.
myself? You know what? I think I'm not going to do it. And this is literally the conversation that I had with myself, because I'm a happy person.
Good
I've
for you.
always been a happy person. I've always been
Mm-hmm.
fighting. But and if someone, and I just really, and this happened around college for me,
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm kind of over people and their opinions, and me putting too much weight on them when I just want to float around like a butterfly. And that's what I'm gonna do. And from that moment, I have not looked back. And quite honestly, as silly as it may sound, the moment that I decided to do that, I started getting all the, oh, Erin, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so this. You're glowing. Am I? Well, thank you.
Right.
And
Thank
I have
you.
not, and thank you. And I have not
Yeah.
looked back since. I have not stopped smiling. I show these big old 50, 68 teeth whenever
Mm-hmm.
any chance I can, because they're
Right.
mine. And I love my smile. I thank my grandmothers, my mother for my smile. Listen, and gratitude, just being cool with whatever it is in you. Beauty to me is a glow,
Mhm.
and when you smile, everybody else around you
That's
smiles,
right.
you know, and so that
Well, you
it really,
do. I mean, you light up a room. You light up a
thank
room when
you.
you walk in a room. Um, but and clearly when you're on stage, but it's there's your outer beauty. There is your understanding of having fun with wardrobe and hair and nails. Let's see your nails. Let's see your beautiful nails.
Right
Right.
now they're black,
So
black.
so you're a performer. You're a seasoned performer, and you have you understand the value of that, and you
Yes,
enjoy it. You enjoy playing with it. I
I
do
do.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, but also then there's this feeling of who you are just comes out through you.
Hmm.
Um, your joy. You share your joy, and it's very contagious. And
Thank you.
people need to feel joy and be lifted. That's our job.
Yeah, I think it's because it's genuine though, and I think people,
It
and that's
is right.
because of what I just told you. Like, I don't, especially this, this ascension and elevation that's happening in my life right now. Which, just my whole story. Period. I don't take that for granted,
Hmm.
and it literally took me embracing myself. All of that and everything that encompassed me. Um, and I think that's what makes each and every single last one of us special.
Hmm.
And I tell people all the time, man, embrace who you are. All the creativity, if you want to do something quirky, do it. It's you. And that's what makes you endearing,
Hmm.
you know? So I think that's why people get that contagious thing, because it's not an act with me. I tried that. It didn't work. It doesn't work. It
Oh,
don't
you
work.
did try that? Yeah, because it wouldn't have worked on me. you know, but it from the very first time we met, it felt authentic
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me.
Thank you for that.
You
That's
feel
because it is.
authentic. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I genuinely love people. I genuinely am a Southern girl from Texas and
Hmm.
Louisiana with Louisiana blood in my veins,
Hmm.
living in the California world, living her dream. That's literally the sum of me. Nothing more, nothing less. And I just want to be happy, and I really do. Anyone who knows me and who's known me since I was a kid, they'll tell you, I just want everybody to be happy, and that happiness kind of starts with me though. So I
Yeah.
had to be happy. All
Agreed.
the time happy, not annoyingly happy, but
Hmm.
like, ugh. But that inner peace with yourself.
It's funny that you just said not annoyingly happy.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, calm
No, I know
down.
what you mean. Yeah, because that's not
I got issues.
authentic.
I get
Yeah.
sad. I cry. I get mad. All the
Right.
above. But
Hmm.
it doesn't last long though. I don't like staying in those states.
Right.
I have a song called Funk 'em, and in it I wrote, and I mean it. It's okay to fall, but don't stay down too long. Get up and run the world and make all your haters crawl. Like, I live by that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. It's unhealthy to not feel your emotions.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. By the way, to our live audience members, if anybody wants to jump up and make a comment or question, just make a request and we'll bring you up on stage right now. Uh,
Yeah.
so feel free. There's a couple of things that we were covering like in our pre-conversation. I'm going to
Mhm.
throw a few of them out there, and then you just you can choose which you want to talk about first. But there's a story about being scared of someone's feet and how it's what started you taking your singing seriously. There's also um, a French fry story, and I definitely want to talk about dating and marriage. So
Okay. Well, okay. Well, we'll do the French fry story kind of ties into dating and marriage.
okay.
So we'll do those when you're ready for them. So I'll start with singing being the last thing that I took seriously because of someone's feet. So I was a kid, and I do mean a kid. My uncle is a military vet. He's a war veteran, and
Mhm.
his feet looked like it. Now, I was a kid. I'm not for sure if you've ever seen In Living Color,
Yeah.
the old comedy sketch. But if you remember Lil Magic,
Hmm.
I was Lil Magic. I was
Okay.
like, oh, do that dance, Lil Magic. That was me. That was me. Like, ooh. And I'd be singing and dancing and singing and dancing and just being silly, having
You
fun.
talking about like little 6-year-old, 8-year-old Erin?
Yeah, like little
Okay.
5 and 6 year old Erin.
Got it.
But naturally entertaining my family. But I wasn't taking it serious. I was just playing around, right? Singing old blues songs because even then I could pick up song lyrics like that and melodies like that. And I was just singing them and performing them for my family, songs I shouldn't be singing. But
Lyrically, you're talking about.
lyrically, right?
Okay.
So old blues songs too.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere with that. So remember that old blues songs. And my uncle, we were having a family reunion, and all my family was there, and they're cooking crawfish, Louisiana, cooking crawfish from the creek, and dominoes, games going, spades, foods, fights. My uncles. My grandmother had 9 kids, okay? She has 9 children. So my uncles fighting and fussing at each other, everybody laughing over here. I mean, just family. A
Hmm.
good, loving, warm family reunion. Nothing bad at all, but everything's happening. Pouring drinks, and I'm just like, la, la, da, la, 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 all over the place, like one of the mosquitoes flying around. My uncle Woodrow, he passed away about 2 years ago. So
Hmm.
he got a chance to see and hear in several interviews along the way his flowers. Because I thank him for this. He yanked me up. He said, Erin, quit playing around so much. He said, if you don't be still, I'm going to put my feet on you. You better, if you don't be still and sing something for real, I'm going to put my feet on you. Now you can whip me. You can do anything because I'm a tomboy. You can whip me. I'm okay. But them feet, those feet, Tara, I literally was like, and I started to sing Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All.
Hmm.
Everything stopped. We were on my grandmother's porch. They stopped frying the catfish. They stopped cooking the crawfish. All my aunts and uncles, all the laughter, the drinking, cursing, fighting, whatever you want to say, everything stopped. And they all came to the porch. And my same uncle, my Uncle Woodrow, took off his hat. He passed the hat around. And my family starts putting money in the hat. I didn't understand money. I just saw what happened.
Hmm.
I gave the hat to my mom with all the money. And I knew from that moment, I didn't know what I was going to be doing, how, when, where, how, what, but I knew I was going to be singing in some capacity. And I thank my Uncle Woodrow for that because had it not been for him, I probably would still be joking around,
Hmm.
playing around, not taking it seriously.
Right.
Um, so I accredit him to that. I probably wouldn't even be hearing songs from me today if it had not been for that. And the reason why I say that moment because they say the nerd, and I can't remember the exact number. I mean the exact statistic, but they say we know what we want to do in life or what we should be doing in life when we're literally that age. Whatever
Hmm.
that thing that comes naturally to us, our gift, our knowledge, our natural wisdom, whether you're a doctor and you like operating on things, whether you want to be an engineer because you like taking things apart all the time and putting them back together. That was my brother. My brother used to tear everything up but put them back together. It was a natural thing for him. Anywho, but they say we all know it's life, marriage, our children, your parents, things that I just need to make money, things like that that deter us from what we know we're supposed to be doing. And we
Hmm.
knew way back then. And I found that funny because it came back into play for me as an adult when I started to pursue my own music career as a solo artist. Etta James,
Hmm.
her husband, who's responsible for a lot of her career, came to one of my shows at
Hmm.
Spivotine. And he pulls me to the side. He says, you can sing. You got it. He said, but I'm gonna tell you something that I had to, do with Etta early on. I'm gonna tell you. He said, he said, what's the first song you ever sung? Because you know, we need to find out who you need to find out who you are as an artist. What do you want to give to the world? Because you can sing anything if you decide to pick it, which is why I'm so good at doing cover songs and entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the kid in me. It's just a natural thing. But and when he asked me that, because I get asked that all the time, well, who are you as an artist? What genre do you fall into? And I get it. It's the music business. They have to
Right.
know how to market you.
Yeah, it's a
Marketing.
reasonable question. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I have,
More important to me, the reasonable question is, who are you as an artist, not what genre.
right. Who are you? Right.
But the
Ask me
who
that.
are you is
I can answer that.
a totally valid question.
Yeah. And when the way he made me, because that's what he did, because I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer that question. And he rephrased it. It was like, what's the first song you ever sung?
Mm.
I said, and I stopped and I thought about that 5-year-old me
Mm-hmm.
singing Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All, are those old blues songs that I used to love to sing. Apparently, I listened to everything. My family introduced me to all kinds of music, smooth jazz even. I knew all about it coming out the womb, okay? But the first songs I ever sung were like pop ballads and storytelling kind of songs. I love
Mm-hmm.
songs that tell stories. And so that was the second time, even as an adult, that forced me to pull back into myself a little bit, to look inwardly to see what I wanted to deliver outwardly and hone in on it. But that's how I started singing. And that's what you're getting now. That 5-year-old kid,
Right.
that's what you're getting now out
Mm-hmm.
of Erin Stevenson. Mm-hmm.
It's so sweet, actually, as I'm listening to you talk about the influence of Etta James and her husband, because she had an impact on me as well personally. Etta James back in the 80s,
Uh-huh.
when I first moved out here in 1981, but I was playing with my band at a place called Vine Street Bar and Grill in Hollywood. Doesn't exist anymore, the club.
Mm-hmm.
But Miss James came to one of my shows, and the owner said, Etta James is coming to your show tonight. She wanted to come hear you. She's a fan of yours and wanted to come hear you play. And she sat right down at the front table and was just hollering my name during the show and got up and was dancing. And it was so sweet. It was so, it was authentic. She was just having a good old time and not afraid to show it. And it really touched me, really, really touched me, because of course I was a fan of her musicianship and her talent and her music. And I spoke to her after the show and she couldn't have been kinder. But that stuff, those moments when people stop, famous or not, audience members, somebody walking down the street, somebody hearing your song on the radio, a friend that you something, and even not even necessarily musically, but just in life, those moments when we all touch each other by an action, something that we might have done that we thought had gone unnoticed because we just did it because it needed to be done.
It needed to be done.
They're so precious and important. And it's so beautiful that that you are sharing that story and reminding me of one of mine from the same family. Too. But it's everything. When we all touch each other, when we reach out to each other, when we lift each other in some way.
And it's I like to say it's really cool when you see dots that are connected, and just watching it all. Serendipity is one of my favorite words as well. Like when you just see things happen, how they come into play even later on in life, or how we're all into, what is it, 25 degrees of separation? What is it?
6 degrees. It was the original, but yeah.
25, didn't I?
Yeah.
Woo, 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
But it's so beautiful to watch. And when you recognize it or see it happening, it's like,
absolutely,
it's happening. Yeah, it's cool.
So tell me about French fries and how you ended up meeting such a great guy and getting married. Because you
back
have
then.
yourself a good man.
I do. You know
Yeah.
what? Doggone it, I do.
Hmm.
And he's my best friend. It took me a long time though. I waited a long time to get married. Jesus, French fries. So French fries are my favorite food, right?
Well, and by the way, you love food. That's like, which I wouldn't know because, you're healthy.
You
Yeah.
want to see my muscles?
Yeah.
No.
You got guns. You're strong, but,
Yeah,
but
right.
I know you love food. So, okay. French fries,
Yeah,
your
I
favorite. Good
try
to
to
know.
keep it together. Especially now I'm getting older, my knees and everything. So I really try to do better
Yeah.
by what I eat. But yeah, my nickname used to be Biscuit. That was my nickname because I would steal all my grandmother's biscuits off the porch. And anyone who knows me from back in the day, I listen. People cook for me. People thought I couldn't cook because people were always cooking for me, and I never
Right.
had to cook because I was always eating. So,
But
yeah.
you're actually a decent cook, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I can
Yeah.
cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
cook, especially when I feel like it. Oh, I can feed you real good. Yeah, Southern. I mean, I'm my mother's child. I can cook.
Hmm.
But so I was on a date, and this again comes with knowing yourself and what you want and who you are. Because I just felt like if I was going to get married, I mean, there are no guarantees ever. Even who knows what may happen to my husband and I tomorrow. I'm thankful for the time that we got.
Hmm.
Okay. However, if I could try to do what I can do to help the situation be somewhat kind of good, at least let me get somebody I know I'm gonna be able to be myself with.
Right.
That I'm gonna be able to be cool with. I'm not always on this. This is my personality, 24/7.
Hmm.
Um, However, I'm not the superstar on stage 24/7. Like I'm not always on, if that makes any sense. And
Hmm.
that's how I kind of keep my sanity. Even though my personality is my personality on stage, I'm not always like, and let's perform. Yeah. Like, oh
Hmm.
God, no. Annoyingly happy. I'm not that person. So this guy, which means I'm clumsy, I'm goofy, I'm silly, I'm a tomboy.
Right.
Uh, I am not what a lot of people think that I think that I am, which made it tough for me with dating. I'm simple. Like Greg might say different, but I don't think I require much. I wish he was here right now because he'd probably
Yeah. I would bring him in on this conversation.
yeah. But I don't think I require much. So I'm on a date with this guy, and this is a very simple story, but it's how I ended up with Greg. And so the dude was like, "So, Erin, when we're driving on the way to, whatever the date was, that tells you how much I remember." And he was like, "So, what's your favorite cuisine?" I was like, I literally, because I'm classy, I'm professional, I'm a lady. So I was like, I was ready for the date, and he kind of took the wind out of me. He was like, "What's your favorite cuisine?" I was like, another date's already going to be bad. Like I knew it. I
Right. I see
knew it.
where this is going.
I immediately knew this is going to be a waste of time. Girl. Cuisine? What? Not my kind of guy.
Hmm.
French fries. And that's what I said too. I was like, French fries. You can take me back now if you want to. I don't think you don't seem like you want the French fry kind of girl. And that was it. I went back home and I knew that, like, again, those moments that happened, like,
That was a game changer
it was a
moment for
game
you.
changer.
Right.
Like, I can't, I need a, I needed, I've got it. And people to this day try to figure out how I ended up with Greg. Like, what was it about him or how or why him? Some things are just intangible. And I could try to come up with this grand, elaborate, um, well written sentence, a phrase of the reason why he was the one. He just was, man. He was
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Let me be me. I could go down a list of things. He encourages me to be my best self. He lets me be my best self. And he never asks me to not be my best self. And I'm talking about as an artist, like I've had guys who were afraid of my success.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I've had guys who knew what I did and were like, okay, but I don't want you to sing anymore. I just want you to be a wife and have babies.
I love being married to somebody who's successful. My wife she's the
Yeah.
bomb. She's, and
And your
it's,
wife is the bomb. Yeah.
thank you, but it's
That's
great.
right.
Yeah.
And
It,
yeah.
it doesn't diminish me in any way. It inspires
No.
me. She
Yeah.
inspires me.
And
Yeah.
I personally feel like it should. Like, it's a partnership, teamwork, and we make that thing work. But I had my fair share of dates.
Sure.
And when I say dates, I do mean dates because I've always, my best friend at home, she'd make fun of me because she'd be like, how do you move on so quickly? And for me, either it is or it ain't. I'm going to go
Right.
sing somewhere tonight. I got work to do. Either the guy is or he ain't. No second date. I'm good. Like that literally was my mindset because I knew it was going to take someone special to be with someone special like me. Not that I'm special, my life is special. And that's what I took. But I don't think I'm complicated. My life may have seemed to be complicated, but it wasn't. It just needs somebody who understood what I was, and genuinely who I am, and we could coast from there. I just want to
So,
sing that.
so you and your husband had one date and you were good. You were cool.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah, I do want to know the truth.
Here's the absolute truth. I didn't tell lessons learned. I didn't tell them what I did when we first met.
That makes
Greg
sense.
and we
Yeah.
met online. I ended up on a dating site because one of my close friends was like, "You're going to sign up. I'm sick of you being alone. You're too good." You know the story. Why
Sure.
are you alone? You're a wonderful person. Why are you single? Or is something wrong with you? And so she was like, "My best friend and my sister found their husbands on this site, so I'm signing you up." I signed up. Greg was there. I almost passed him up too, but his profile read differently than what he looked like. Anyway, First day was a great first date. We did everything that people say that you shouldn't do. Everything. And that was tell the truth. Our first date literally was about a good 45 because I had to go sing. He didn't know that. I just told him that I was in the entertainment industry. But so it literally was a conversation that went something like this. I don't like. I do this, I don't do this. I want this, I don't want that. I suck at this, I'm good at that. I will tolerate this, I won't tolerate that. Here's what I'm looking for. This ain't what I'm looking for. Like that was our conversation.
Right.
I'm
You got to
working
know
on
each other.
yeah, literally. And so we went our separate ways. I went to work. He had a meeting. He lived in Oceanside, Vista area, and I was living in Van Nuys.
Oh, that's a drive.
Right. Weirdly, okay, I'll say that in a second. But I was working by LAX. So he had a meeting in LA and he stayed and he was hoping, he was like, well, he was like, I'd like to see you again. If I stay out here and you're done working, we want to get together, like maybe to go talk some more afterwards. And so I was like, yeah, okay. My phone was locked in the hotel room. So I missed it, right? By the time I got to the room to unlock it, I was like, go ahead, go home. It's late. My phone was locked in the hotel room. And second date's on me. I'll come to you. I
That's
went to,
classy.
yeah, second date lasted 3 days. I was dating a guy at the time because I was single. I was trying to date. Nothing more, nothing less. Told you one day or not. And let's just say the guy that I was dating filed a missing in action, an MIA report on me because I was gone for 3 days and my best friend knew where I was. So the coast was clear. Somebody knew where I was.
Yeah.
He went to the cops. Aren't you glad I avoided that one? Okay. But he went to the cops to file an MIA report on me. But those 3 days, we sat there, and this goes back to when I tell you guys used to get me, and still do, get me so wrong just because of what I do, or I guess on my profile, whatever that reads or looks like.
Mhm.
But we sat there for 3 days doing nothing. And it was the best time ever. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. Eating and watching TV and watching movies for 3 days.
Just
And
hanging out.
just hanging out. When there's no applause, when there's no great spotlight, when
Mhm.
there's, and we're honest, we're not even romantically, sexually involved. When that, we got to get old someday, you know? I'm
Right.
just saying, what do you do when it's just the two of you? There's no fancy meal, there's no
Mhm.
fancy cuisine, no money being spent to blow or toot my whistle. No,
Right.
we're just existing in each other's space.
Right. Not trying to impress each other, just being with each other.
Just big. And it was the
Mhm.
best time ever. We got engaged in 5 months and we'll be married 7 years, December 31st.
Oh, it's great. The two of you belong together. It's great. I mean, it feels that way anyway, but to hear the story is really pretty
No,
wonderful.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Like it
Yeah.
was a long time coming.
Sure.
And he really is a wonderful guy. He's wonderful to me, for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. We're not perfect, but nobody is. We're not
Mm-mm.
perfect, but he's my best friend. And I think what the best thing that the thing that best friends do in life, friends, is they work through it. They fight, and in 2 seconds, we're going to go get a drink. Or what you feel like doing tonight? Or what you want for dinner?
Mhm.
Are you laughing? Or even you don't even know why you're mad at each other.
Right.
Like, what were we just mad at again for? You know? And that's why I say he's literally my best friend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that story. It's great. French
Yeah.
fries to love. There you
French
go.
fries to love.
Just straight path.
Yeah, I knew what I needed. That guy was not going to work for me. That kind of guy was not going to work for me.
I want to let people know about your social media sites and some things so people can find you before I get to my 3 closing questions. And so let's just start by uh, I want to encourage everybody, please. I'm talking to you, everybody who's listening right now and or watching. Go to Erin's Spotify page, go to mine as well,
Yes,
and
please.
subscribe.
Yeah.
It's free to do. You don't get any kind of notifications or anything. And that's how you can support artists continuing to record music, especially independent artists.
Mhm.
So please do that. So let's shout out some of your socials so people can find you.
For sure. I looked up, if you just remember, Erin Stevenson Music, you'll find me
Right.
everywhere. My website is Erin Stevenson Music. My social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Erin Stevenson Music. I have a fan page. I don't want to call it fans. They call themselves Soldiers, SOULDIERS. And it's a community of people who like me and my music. Erin Stevenson Soldiers. Spotify.
Yeah.
Erin Stevenson Music. Please go and stream all those songs and download music videos on YouTube. You can just go dive into me and Terry. Please support him. Please support him as well. Yeah, dive into it, y'all. Keep this
Thank you.
music
Yeah.
alive. Yeah.
No, and the your most current single is called Believe. It's a badass song. There's a really fun video that's up on your website and
Yeah.
up on YouTube and everywhere. But um, just go check Erin out. And like we said, it's so easy. Hit subscribe. It
Yeah.
makes a difference. It really does make a difference. Because we both have new music coming out
Yep.
and continue to do that. And we want to share it with you. And we invite you to support us in a very simple way. Very, very
Please
simple
just
way.
hit the button. We could use it.
Just hit the button.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, so my 3 closing questions that I ask all of my guests, and after this, of course, I'll give you closing thoughts. But the first is, since this show is called Making It, what does making it mean to you both personally and professionally?
Wow. Personally, for me personally, I'm gonna tie personal and professional together. And this is for me personally, what I deem it to be as making it. Um, it always bothered me when I heard people say, you want your cake and eat it too. I'm not gonna sit there and look at the cake. I'm not going to smell the cake. I don't want to just lick the icing. I want to eat the doggone cake. I want all the cake, which
Mhm.
means to me, love, marriage, a career, traveling, a home. I don't think anyone is here. Uh, I don't think anyone just wants to be here and not be fulfilled. I think making it is you making the choice, you making the choice, because it all starts with you, and secondly, you saying yes to yourself to go after whatever it is that you want to do. And I'm going to be the first person to tell you it's not going to be easy. It's going to require a lot of sacrifice and a hell of a whole lot of hard work, a lot of self reflection, a lot of, you may lose some people along the way, but that's okay because you will learn who's meant for you, and what's meant for you is for you. That includes people
Mhm.
that you might not. And when you look back and that what you thought was so great, those friends or those people may have been the very thing holding you back from what you wanted to do, anyways. To me, happiness, pure, genuine happiness is to me making it. Because again, as I said earlier, you have to literally wake up every day. We're going to wake up every day. Thank God until He calls us home. You might as well choose to be happy. And when you get to happiness, to me, that's making it. When you get to happiness, not when you got $1 million, not when you get to, I have the perfect marriage. I mean, whatever that happiness, it being by yourself,
Right.
getting that,
Mhm.
forgive me if I say it, getting that divorce, get to happiness. Get to, that is when I can say you've genuinely made it. That's what it means to me. Making those decisions. And it took me a long time because I'm such a people person. I'm
Mhm.
a giver. I am such a giver. I'm one of those people that considers everybody else other than myself. And it took me it took me almost killing myself in a car accident to learn how to say no and to learn how to be okay with taking care of Erin. Because I can't take care of nobody else if I don't take care of myself.
Mhm. That's the
Uh,
truth.
yeah, I won't even be here to do what I wanted to do. And I can't give my best self to anybody if I'm all run down, sickly, tired, annoyed, frustrated, miserable, angry, bitter, all those negative things. So get to happy and be your best self and give everything you got to whomever or whatever. And then that's what I would say making it really is. Go through the trenches though, but you'll come out on the other side. I guarantee you. You've only heard a portion of my crazy stories. Mm-hmm.
Amen to all of that. Uh,
Mhm.
Second question is, can you share 3 tips for success that have driven your career?
Absolutely. One, be okay with you because you have to find that out first. Who you are and what you are. I'm going to make both of those number one, who you are and what you are. Two, do number one first because I'm going to tell you don't listen to everyone's opinions.
Mhm.
Because everyone's going to have their opinions. Everyone's going to have their opinion, not even just music, just in life, how you should raise your kids, what you need to do in your marriage, what you need to do at your job, or how you need to even file. I file my papers like this. You should do it like this. Find out who you are. Two, I mean, find you a mentor, no doubt. Find
Mhm.
you a mentor that you trust. Someone that you, they say, no, don't 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 sell anything you're not willing to buy.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
if you, even with your mentor, make sure it's something you're willing to buy before you start selling it yourself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So That's another one of my disclaimers. Don't sell anything that you yourself aren't willing to buy. So get a mentor for sure. But number two, because you're going to always have people telling you all these opinions, but that's when you lose yourself. That's when you lose what you have to give when you become someone else or start doing what everyone else says you should do. You lose yourself and that thing that makes you stand out, that thing that makes you special. So listen, and if it's wise, adhere to it. But please don't give in to every single person's opinions. Number three, please know that fear goes nowhere. You just learn how to do it through it. It never leaves. And I accredit Janet Jackson for this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were doing a show in LA and I saw her face, and she may never remember this story ever in life, but I do because it affected me. Because I told you earlier, Terry, I'm the epitome of a Gemini, what we call a Gemini, extremely bold or extremely shy,
Mm-hmm.
a wild child, extremely tame, you know. So I singing, believe it or not, terrifies me, but I love what I do. So I fight through it. And people think I'm lying because of my natural energy or I'm having so much fun, and I am. But that initial terror, being fearful before I get on stage, every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw her face. We were doing a show in LA, and LA crowds can be very cuisine-ish.
Yeah.
LA
Especially for the artist. Yeah.
Yeah, for the artists, LA crowds are very
Mm-hmm.
non-French friable. They're cuisines, okay? And
Yeah.
I saw her face, and she literally out of her mouth said, "It never goes away."
Mm.
And if Miss Janet Jackson, if you're nasty, can figure out how to do it through it and
Mm-hmm.
tell me that it never goes away, then maybe I'm not so crazy. Maybe I am meant to still be doing what I'm doing. I've just got to figure out that thing or what my routine's gonna be to get me through it. What's my cause? And for me, it's people.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody else. I get through it not for myself because Lord Jesus, the reason why I keep going, even putting out music, I'm financing my own career.
Yeah.
You know the story, Terry.
You and I are both independent artists. We're both on the
Yeah.
Billboard charts, and we are independent artists.
Let's go.
That's
But
right.
it takes a lot, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm not rich. My life is rich. I'm
Yeah.
not. Go
Mm-hmm.
check my bank account. Okay. No. But
Yeah.
but when I hear people say thank you, or when I hear people say you made me forget all about my problems. I was in a state of joy watching your joy. Those are the things that make me fight through my fear and keep going, because at that point it's not even about me anymore. And that's why I encourage you to do it through your fear, because we're all here to be a service, to make this world that keeps on spinning, the sun that keeps on shining, a better place for all of us. So those are my top three things that I'd leave with everybody. One, find out who you are and what you are, be okay with that. Two, listen to your soul, your own gut, your own intuition, your own discernment. And three, do it afraid.
Beautiful tips. Thanks, Erin, on that. Man, I stand with you in all of that, my friend. Absolutely. My closing question is, at this point of your life, with everything that you know to be true, what would you tell your younger self, little 5-year-old Erin, when they're passing the hat around, or before that?
That that I was right.
Mm.
I would tell myself that I was right, and I would pat myself on the back, because we could be really hard on ourselves, working towards what the next,
Yeah.
always struggling, hustling, grinding for the next,
Mm-hmm.
and wondering, am I doing the right thing? Wondering as I get off this live to go watch my little debut in Duran Duran sealed in history. Really, girl? That's what I would tell my 5-year-old self, that I was right. That and I was gonna be okay. Just do it. And
Right.
yeah, and pat myself on the back. Even today at 42, I'm gonna go pat myself on the back, which is hard to do because you're always focused over here, poster right here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pat my old self on the back too. and have a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be hard to do.
It
Just
shouldn't be hard to
just
do.
just pat yourself on the back and because because that's gratitude, and it's
Yeah.
okay to be proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the march doesn't stop.
No.
We get up again and tomorrow and start from the beginning again. It's
Do it
just
all over again.
that's right.
You will always, what do we say? The hustle, the bustle, the struggle, the grind is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Always. As you say, it's going to be there right in the morning. So please take a moment to stop and breathe and tell yourself you're doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
And that just may make your all right better than all right. You know what I mean? It just might make it great. And that's what I've personally found that gratitude has gotten me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Just being grateful for the now and whatever's happened, just being in that grateful state. It just keeps getting better and better. And then I could get grateful again because you keep blowing your own mind.
Well, gratitude is the gift that keeps on giving for
It
me.
does. Yep. Again, something you got to practice, and once you start practicing it, it becomes a thing, and you just start seeing. I call them blessings falling from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Mm-hmm.
bloop bloop bloop. But it's because the space that you're allowing yourself to be in, the air you're allowing yourself to breathe. Gratefulness. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Any closing thoughts?
Yep. Thank you, Terry.
You're so welcome, Erin.
I just appreciate, the questions that you asked. We've spoken about this. You get asked the same questions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beyond the music, what we do. Even for a lot of musicians, music is just a gateway. But for a lot of us, it's something I'm glad you're allowed, what your platform is allows people to really get to know the backstories and the core and the heart of a lot of us musicians and professionals, because you interview more than just musicians. So just your platform, period, and what you bring to the world. So thank you for having me on here.
It's my honor and joy to share the time with you and to share your story and perspective. I really appreciate you and love your music and your work ethic is something to behold. And something that I deeply respect and resonate with, and
Yeah.
so we are definitely like-minded.
Yes, because
You
you
know,
work. You
and
work.
we do what needs to be done, and then figure out how to do more. Just to how great can we make it?
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, Everybody, go check out Erin's new single, "Believe," on Intervision Records. Go to Erin Stevenson. Music dot anything, just Erin
Yeah.
Steven music.
Anyway.
and on behalf of both of us, we thank you for spending your time with us today. I want you to stay safe and encourage everybody to stay inspired.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Erin. It's great to see you, and continued success.
Same to you, brother. And I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. See everybody next week.
Tune in again next week for another great episode of Making It with Terry Wollman.